Here we go at the lovely studios of WSAN Radio, located at 502 Montana on the corner of Hackberry. We are in this black museum here. It's called the William Historical National Museum. We do a lot of our interviews and guest appearance right here in this spot where I'm sitting at. If you want to see more of our guests and see our past interviews, go to our YouTube channel. That's WSAN Radio SA. And once you go to that channel, you be going down rabbit holes. You want to see what did he say here, what happened there. So we're here for you. This is your platform, San Antonio. So come on board, come on down, and join the train ride, and come listen to WSAN Radio, San Antonio, Texas, downtown East. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
How you doing this morning?
Good. How are you?
Wow, I'm doing good. It's been a minute since last time I seen you.
Yeah, it's been what, Juneteenth, right?
Yeah, Juneteenth. Yeah, at Legacy Park. And anyway, this is 34K. I call her that. I'm not going to say her real name, not unless she wants me to. But on the flyer, I put her real name in, AKA 34K. But that's what you are known by. So tell us a little bit about yourself. How long you been into music?
So I've really always liked music since I was a little girl, probably since I was like 5. I remember I have like a video actually of my parents actually got me trying to rap to some karaoke songs since I was about 5 years old. So I've been playing and loving music for a long time. However, I didn't start actually creating and playing the guitar until I was about 11 years old. So yeah, so I've been playing for now. It's been like 13 years.
Is that all you play, is just a guitar?
So no, I don't just play the guitar. I play keys a little bit as well. I'll pick up a bass here and there as well. But yeah, and I used to play saxophone a long time ago too. So I haven't played in a while. So I don't know if I want to count that one.
We can't ask you to do a solo with the saxophone right now, right?
Not.
That won't work.
Probably not. But I picked it up, just like everybody's picked up a recorder at one point in time in their life.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you on that. I did back in my days. Like I said, I can pick up a bass guitar. I don't know what it's all about, but I did play a little bit. I'm gonna say my age, back in the late 70s and early 80s, with this guy named Ricky Fields. And so shout out to Ricky Fields if you're watching, and his nephew Oscar. But you getting into the music and everything, that's my first time hearing you.
Okay.
And I was so impressed with that one lady show up there and stuff. And then I also recorded it and it came out good. And that's when it came to me. I said, well, I'm gonna play them back. So I think one day I played nothing but all of y'all, what, Society Band?
Yeah, the Right Now Society.
The Right Now Society Band. And that, and along with Mr. Clay.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, play that all back, and that was refreshing to see a concert like that before. It was different, but the only problem is they had you on right in the middle of all that sun, didn't they?
Yeah, that happens sometimes, but you got to do what you got to do. And you know what? When I got on stage, I forgot about the sun. I was just playing and loving it and enjoying it. The crowd was amazing, so it is what it is. But
okay, let's take you back down memory lane.
Okay.
When you first picked up the guitar, was it natural? Did you play by, like some people learn how to play by ear and not by notes?
So I would say when I picked up the guitar, it was more of a natural thing. It was more by ear. Actually, what I did was I went to YouTube and looked at people play and kind of watched them do things. And I would try to learn my favorite songs through that. And over time, my ear just started picking up on things. I started learning a little bit of just like some guitar theory, but not more notes, just like guitar related stuff, whatever you're trying to play. But that's mostly what I did. I just kind of watched people.
Well, what was the first song that you played you felt comfortable
Comfortably?
with? Yeah.
I would say it's a song called Wonderwall by this band called Oasis. They're like an alternative rock band that was really popular in the 90s. They were actually, a lot of people used to call them the next Beatles because they were from the UK and they were like doing that kind of thing. But yeah, no, that was the very first song I ever learned how to like sing and play comfortably.
So when you decide that this is what you want to do, and it's a two-part question, this is what you want to do, and what was your first solo appearance?
Okay, so part one of your question, when I decided this is what I want to do, I was pretty young. I was probably around 15. I've been playing for about 4 years at that time. And I was like, I think I really want to do this and really keep going at it. And because I just loved it so much. It was so cool. This might be something that you didn't know, but I actually was an athlete my whole life. So I started
Okay.
off as being an athlete. I picked up the guitar around the age of 11, but I had been playing basketball. That's what I played since I was 5 too.
Hmm.
And After I started playing guitar a little bit, I started finding myself really loving it. And I was like, after I play basketball, let me really push this a little bit more. So I really knew around that age that I wanted to really just continue with this and move forward with it. My first solo appearance, I think I was at a family reunion, actually. I was probably like 13 or so. And my family, the family reunion was like, they knew that I started playing guitar and they knew I kind of was starting to get a little better. So they were like, "Why don't you play for us?" So that was the very first time. I was extremely nervous. I was like shaking. I was like, but it was definitely a good experience for my first time. So
Well, doing it in front of family, that's your harshest
hey,
critics.
that's true. It makes it even more nerve wracking.
Yeah, then you say, okay, it's ended. What type of responses? What type of responses you get back after you play?
Back, I mean, well now, if we're looking at it presently, I mean, I would say right now, people are usually like, oh, like, they're kind of like, oh, okay. And I guess because I'm doing the solo too, they're not used to seeing someone up there just kind of just going at it solo. So
Yeah.
I get kind of like surprised, but also really complimentary. Like I've had so many nice things people say about my voice and just about my confidence and so I'm just like really grateful for that. So that's the kind of responses I've gotten so far.
Okay. I'm gonna go back. I gotta go back and
Go
talk
back
to you
and
about
forth.
sports.
A little bit more.
I didn't know about that basketball. You play in high school?
I played in high school and I played in college.
What college?
UTSA.
UTSA.
Yeah.
Were you good?
I guess I was. I was
I'm
playing.
just,
I was playing,
you,
so I was good enough to be on D1.
you should have. That's the right answer because I know on some job interviews they catch you and they say, "Well, so and so applied for it. So why do you think he's better for the job than you are?" And they'll go ahead and say the reason why. That happened to me one time, and they said, "Well, why do you think so and so is better qualified than you?" I said, "Who said he was better qualified?"
Yeah.
I said, I think I'm qualified for this job. I got the job, but they told me how many people answered that question, giving somebody else props. You going for the same job?
Yeah.
You know, no, you don't do that. So, playing basketball, how was that, team wise? I think playing any sports, when you come down together, team, you learn how to gel and talk to each other, and then each one of them knows their culture and where you came from.
Yeah.
I'm leading into something with
Okay.
this, so bear with me.
All right.
So the part that I'm making is the way the culture is now out here is so volatile right now that they're ready to start fighting and everything. The problem is one culture never understood our culture. The Crown Act was just passed for hair. If you went somewhere right now looking for a job, they're turning you away because of your hairstyle. They don't understand our culture. And so with that, have you ever run across that when somebody want to belittle you because of your skin color or your hairstyle or your beliefs?
I probably have had moments where that's happened, but I haven't had anything that like pushed me back, turned me down in a way, or shut me down, I should say. Yes, there's definitely stereotypes and about the hair and oh, that might not be the best style, or you might want to do this or look more like that. But I've always just kind of stay true to myself. And one person I answer to is God, and that's about it at that
There you
point.
go.
So, but yeah, no, the culture is volatile. But I feel like the more and more we spread it and live it and act it and be it, and be confident in that, and also, act the way we do and be good representations of our culture. I just feel like we'll be good.
That was a good answer. Just be yourself and let nobody put you down or shut you down.
You can't get shut
You
down.
can't, because if you shut down, okay, they're vulnerable now. So I can say anything. This person would just crumble up and won't say or do anything, which I think is a good thing with you to having that attitude right now, the way it is out there. Yeah, we're gonna leave that alone now because
Okay.
I wanna really mess with you now
Oh
because
Lord,
I'm known for that. I mean, I get so many people say, Ron, why'd you ask me that question? I tell them because I can. But with your style and your music, what you was playing on Juneteenth was totally a different style. You just a one woman crew with your guitar and your voice. I have to say the voice, y'all, because she did some songs up there that made you want to just turn around and look. And I took a hard look. So what style did you pick up on and who influenced you for where you at right now?
Yeah, so I would say it's very, very much of a spectrum and a continuum in a way. I pick up from a lot of different styles. I will say, when I first started playing guitar, I pretty much only played like alternative and rock music. Honestly, that's where I started. I actually started playing guitar because I used to like this game called Guitar Hero. You've heard of the game? That's why I even started. And after kind of learning how to strum those chords, I started really looking into like soul, blues, and R&B music because that's what I grew up on. I didn't know how to play that stuff when I started, but I started learning that later. And some of the people that have inspired me in different aspects of my creative process. So as a guitar player, I've been inspired by the guitar player John Mayer, but as a singer, Jill Scott and India.Arie.
Yeah.
And as a writer, more on the Stevie Hendrix and India.Arie side of it. So it's just different. I would say that there was no one thing, but I would say it was a conglomerate of a bunch of styles.
Yeah.
I took because I love singing and I love playing guitar and I love writing. Those are my things. That's like my trifecta, if you will, that I tell high when it comes to my creative process.
Yeah.
I take it from a little bit of all of that, and I still think that that's still I'm still getting influenced by others that are newer artists like Leanne La Havas. I don't know if you've heard of her, but she's from across the pond. She's from England, and she's she's a guitar player, African American female that sings. So it's kind of that that inspiration, looking at someone just like me, trying to do the same thing. So
You said my girl when she came out with Steady Love.
Yeah.
I must watch that video 20 times in a row.
I actually have a YouTube cover of that song.
Oh, do you?
I do.
Oh,
you can go to my
okay.
YouTube channel and look at it. I love that song.
Okay. I seen it and I looked at my wife. I looked at her. I looked at my wife. She said, "What you doing?" I said, "I'm comparing. If she came my way and sung Steady Love to me and want me, I may have to leave you."
Oh. I mean, that song is
That song is on point.
Yeah, it's on point.
It tells the truth. Like writing songs like that, you listen to the meaning of it and you can relate to it in your relationship. Yeah, he pissed me off, but then I'm happy. It's all the things she put into that song. Was about 4 minutes long. She put up and down, but at the end, it was Steady Love. That's what I got out of it. And she well, let me get off. I'm at the interview. I'm looking for you, girl. But I thought that was an awesome video right there, and I was put together. So you said you did that song too?
I've done a cover of that song. I actually have a video on YouTube. If you go to my channel, it's 34K Music. You can go find it. But I remember when that song came out, my mom was like in love with it. I remember also downloading her album when it came out and showing my mom. And she was like, "Oh my gosh, you have to do a cover of that." And I was like, "Well." I kind of sat with it a little bit, and I ended up learning it, so I was able to do a cover of it.
Yeah,
and it's a beautiful song. I love it.
Okay, so you did how many originals? You did 2 or 3 originals on the 18th at Legacy Park.
2, 3, maybe 4. I might even added 4 in there. I don't. I
okay.
think
Because I remember you said this is my original.
Yeah.
And was one of them about soul food?
Yes.
Okay. See, my memory still. Because I think when you were singing that, first thing came to my mind, ooh, some good old collard greens, hot water, cornbread, and some hot sauce. That's all I need. I don't need anything else. That's all I need. And when you were singing that, that brought back memories when we were brought up on how my grandmama will be in the kitchen and she be cooking up a storm. And I tell you what, that I can't wait to eat them greens. In the beginning, I couldn't stand greens.
Really?
I didn't understand it.
Yeah.
So I watched everybody eating like, what's so good about greens? And I started eating. I said, oh yeah, I like this.
Now you know, yeah.
So now every once in a while I get in the mood for greens. And it's hard to go to different places that have good greens. So I'll do it myself.
Yeah, I mean, like when it's cooked, home cooked, it's definitely very,
Yeah,
very different.
it is. It is.
Like,
There's this restaurant. I'm gonna give you a plug, Mama's.
Mama's.
You
I've
know,
heard of it, and I
yeah,
think I've eaten there.
over there on Walsham. She got some greens. I ordered greens. I want to go back and order the whole pot
Ooh,
because that remind me of home right there. So see, people don't realize the chain restaurants are okay, but the problem with them is they all order ingredients from the same place. It's a different name, but it's the same food. It's no different. But when you go to a mom and pop place where they're they season it the way they like it. If you don't want that food, then you have to go back. But you get a mom and pop place that put things together like that, you go back all the time.
yeah.
And I brought up Mama's because yeah, you got some good catfish and some good greens. So your music wise, when you wrote Soul Food, was that talking about food? Were you hungry at that time or where you come up with the idea for that song?
So more background on me. I'm originally born in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I have a lot of my roots of my family have been in Louisiana, and so I used that. And the inspiration I got for that was just my own experience going to Louisiana, seeing fields of my grandmother lived in the country, and when I would go over there in the summers to go hang out with her, he would cook up a storm and and even at like family reunions and things of that nature, we would just have that good old fashioned soul food. So that's where that came from. That idea came from,
Okay.
my own experiences growing up in that environment in the South. So was I hungry at the time? I think I was just trying to kind of bring back those memories. And I know other people have them too. Like you said, I'm just like amazed because you said that reminded me of my own experience.
Mhm.
That's kind of like I figured that a lot of people could relate to that.
And that's good because they see that and they go back in time, and then someone try to get in the kitchen who can't cook and they could do it, and it's. I was the first grandson, so I was in the kitchen all the time with my grandmom, and I watched her cook all the time. She never measured anything, and to this day, I cook and I don't measure anything. I just put it on there, and yeah, it comes out all the time the same way. So, but I had to bring it up about soul foods. That was something good about that. We got somebody here named Cheryl. She just said 34K is awesome. She blessed us by playing with Nobility at the Juneteenth festival. Keep doing what you're doing, sis.
Oh, thank you, Cheryl.
Yeah, you got your lady name of Kim Perry.
Yes, my mother.
Oh, okay.
My mother, yes.
Okay. Mickey Sweet. Okay. I know them too. Oh, say hi, mom.
Hi, Mom.
She's a little nervous up here, but she's all right. She's all right.
I'll be all right.
Yeah. So getting back to your music writing and stuff, do you ever get a block, like you're writing something and you stop, you can't figure out what else put it, you put it to the side, then come back to it later and finish it?
Yeah, no, I've definitely done that. It was soul food that happened. Like,
Oh, okay.
like that happened with me. I got like a good part, and there was a good section of it that I got, and I was like, cool, but I couldn't get the right words. And for me, the writing process, I take it I approach it very spiritual. There's some people that approach it very formulaic, like,
Yeah.
okay, let's just go to the dictionary and go find a word, and then we're gonna make it work, and and they just, just in that approach. But for me, I feel like, well, if I'm not feeling it, if it's not like really coming to me, there must be something I haven't experienced. I need to see something that's going to trigger me, something. So
Yeah.
I'll put it to the side and I'll just be like, I'll come back to it.
Yeah.
And because I want, because I I hope, like, I love writing songs, and I think my whole thought process is if I can't really, if it can't come out of, well, to me, I think, God gives me my song. So if I can't get it from him, then he must want me to chill and kind of look at
Yeah.
And then if I come back and I'm like, okay, I'm ready now, it comes to me in these weird, like, I don't know, just kind of discontinuous moments. And I just kind of piece them together and
Yeah.
have been able to do it. So yeah, I've definitely had blocks and pushed stuff to the side and came back to it.
Have you picked up a guitar one time and just started playing with no words to it, and you made up your words as you were going and write a song that way?
That's usually how I do it.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
see,
usually
I'm
actually how
just,
I do it. I
I,
usually come up with the music first on my
Mhm.
guitar, and then I'll say something I don't, it's just on my conscience, I guess. I don't know what it is, and I'll have something like, oh, I like that, and then I'll
Yeah.
record the idea and be like, okay, I like that.
Okay.
We'll see how it works after that. We'll see how far I can get to it before I
Yeah.
have to, take a break or something.
So with you playing the guitar, have you played with a full band before?
I have played with a full band before. I'm actually working on building my own full band, hopefully. But yeah, I played with a full band, and that experience has been
How's that?
awesome. Like it's especially if you're playing with really good people around you. They're really into it as well. It's just an amazing experience to be able to collaborate with people that also love music as much as you do. So
And I want to talk about your guitar. We got to talk about your guitar. Like BB King had Lucille.
oh Lord.
So what is your name for your guitar?
So right now, I have a few guitars now, but my acoustic guitar that I play, that's CC.
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 So why the name CC?
Well, the only reason why is because the name of the actual guitar is the brand is called Cole Clark. So I just called it CC. I'm like CC.
That just came out now. Hey, come on over here, CC.
Yeah. Sometimes they do. It just comes out of me. I'm like, oh, that's what I want to call it. So.
Did you get on CC case when CC hit a bad note?
Nah, CC got on my case.
I got ready to say, because you shouldn't be hitting like that.
Like, girl, you know what you're supposed to be doing with me.
You know you're on the wrong chord right here.
She got on my case.
So did you ever start writing music and putting the notes with it?
Like, what do you mean exactly by that? Like,
you write a song, yeah, right there.
oh, like
then you want to
lyrics.
know what key it's going to be in. And do you take time to write, or do you just memorize it and just go from there?
So my process usually comes with music first. It's very, very much music. I haven't really done too much writing lyrics first and then putting the music to it. However, I will say, to answer kind of like the follow-up question, so like my process really does, I look at it as a two-way thing. My voice and my guitar are definitely working together. So when I'm writing, I usually am doing it at the same time. And so and then a lot of times when I think of a lyric, it comes from either the inspiration of what the guitar is doing. Like if I'm playing some chords, I'm like, okay, what does this sound like? What does this feel like? And then it'll kind of lead me to what I want to say or how I want to say it. So that's kind of like the process.
So basically, is it safe to say sometimes you're up on stage, you have your song list you want to play, but you get into this zone and something comes out and you deviate from that? Do you do that from time to time?
I do. If it's like that, yeah. If it's like, oh, okay, yeah. And sometimes I'll deviate and I'll be like, and I'll sing sing something a certain way that I've practiced 1,000 times, but I've never sang it that way before. And I'm like, oh, how'd that happen? Where'd that happen? And why'd that happen? And I just go, you know what? It happened.
So you surprise yourself sometime, huh?
I surprise myself. I'm like, oh, okay. I can do that.
I can see, because you get into a zone, and that's the good Lord putting you in a zone, and then you turn around and you may tweak it right in the middle of your performance, and you don't know why you did it. If it's recorded, you go back and listen to it, you say, wow, I can't believe I did that. But you were scared to do it, rehearsing for yourself, but then it came out, just boom, and that's how it was.
Yeah, that's happened quite a few times in surprising manners.
So let's talk about family a little bit. Are you the only child?
I am the only child, yes.
So were you a spoiled little brat?
Spoiled, not a brat.
Okay.
No, my family has definitely spoiled me for sure, but also at the same time taught me that I can't be a brat either as well.
Mm,
They've instilled mother and father and grandparents all have instilled that in me. Like I have to work to earn things that I get.
yeah. Wow. So how was it? How was it growing up did you grow up in Louisiana before you moved?
Yeah, so I grew up in Louisiana up until I was about 8. So most of my childhood and like teenage years was in Houston, though. Houston, Texas is where
Hmm.
I would say I was raised most of my life at the end of the day. But yeah, it was kind of I guess half and half as far as my childhood. But yeah, I grew up there, got a lot of experiences there in Louisiana, and then moved over to Houston. And
Was Houston a little rough growing up in?
I mean, we lived in the suburbs, so I wouldn't say it was rough, but yeah, I mean, there's crime and there's all these things, but
Yeah.
I was definitely I would say in a good area of town and family protected me and friends and family and all of that. So I would say I had a really decent life was growing up.
So let's go to high school. I'm gonna bring up high school. You play sports in high school. Were you doing your thing playing the guitar at the same time?
I will say though at that time sports was the priority. I was trying to, get a scholarship and then I was able to do that. But I will say music was definitely an outlet for all things that I was dealing with, stress and writing songs. Just used to I would actually there was times where before I had a game, I would get dressed really early and I would go try to write songs and stuff to make me feel better for the game. So,
Have you ever been out there in the game, you playing, and something comes to your mind about your music? Has that ever happened?
I can't recall that ever happening. I can't recall that happening. I don't think it has. I mean, with me, when I focus on something, I really am focused on something. So I think when I was playing, I was really focused on that because that took a lot of mental energy to be able to do that. So I don't think that's ever happened. But I will say before and after those, like
Yeah.
when I'm not on the court in the game, around that though, yeah, stuff is coming to my head all the time. Like people say something, I'm like, oh, that could be an idea,
So were you the top player on the team?
When I was in high school, I would say yes, yes, yeah.
So everybody looked up to you.
Yes, yes. I was definitely like the leader and the
I was
captain and
gonna
all of
say
that.
that because you said it for me. I said you sound like you was a leader, taking control of everything. You're not a controlling person, are you?
I'm not a controlling person. I actually don't like to control people. Leadership was actually something I had to learn
Mm.
because I wasn't naturally like trying to tell people what to do. I'm not that type of person, but it's just something I had to
You
learn.
just laid back and
I kind of laid back and led by example, but I will say when I got to college, that kind of had to change up a little bit. It's a little different ball game then, but I had to learn it though.
so what was the transition graduating from college? And what do you do after you transition back into your music? Do you get a full-time job or what did you do?
Yeah, so I got a full time job. I'm working out here in San Antonio, but within that, in the evenings and the weekends, I would try to find places to play and meet new people that would looking for places for people to play. So I was just trying to get my name out there, get my face, in the right places, meet new folks. So that was kind of my transition. It was just little by little though, like I would
Yeah.
play somewhere and someone would be like, oh, and then they would then, I would meet someone and that might lead to another opportunity. Uh, or I would play the same place for a while and then, same old, same old.
Yeah.
But still everything was, I think, a part of the puzzle and, the progression of me being able to play a little bit more and get out there a little more.
Have you ever walked up into a place, have a jam session? Have you sat up there and jam with people before?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you sound like you're confident about that answer right there.
That's fun. That's probably that's probably one of the most fun things to do because it's like you're taking people that love music.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all have never played together before. Some of y'all don't even know each other. Y'all don't know each other's names. Y'all don't know each other's backgrounds. No one cares about anything. No one cares about what's going on in the world. Y'all just up there playing music, and somehow y'all are able to speak to each other through music. It's like a language, and it's one of my most fun times. Sometimes
I'm glad you said that because I consider that they always say music is a universal language. And you get people put together and they're played together, and you look at you get finished with that jam session. Wow, that was hot. You know what you did. And it's all just like comedians. Sometimes they have a script, but they ad lib as they go along. And basically the same way in with music, like I went to a jam session about a month and a half ago, and I watched how they bounced off each other. This horn player came in, first time there, didn't know nobody in there, jumped on stage and just joined in with everybody, and it was beautiful. You know, seeing things like that, a singer getting up there, just singing. And you know, I don't know half the songs they're singing up there. I think they're making it up. But as the singer get up there and start singing, and the band hears it, and they know what tempo and what to create after that. The drums, the guitar, the bass. It seemed like they knew the song already. And for that to happen in a jam session, it takes some dedication and the members to get up there and trust each other who's going to do what.
Yeah.
And that is a trust issue up there when you get up there. Okay, so and nobody try to overshadow anybody. That's what I like about it. They all do their own thing. Nobody said, "Well, I can play better than that," and just start playing the band. No. So you love your jam sessions.
Yeah, jam sessions are yeah, they're one of a kind. This is a very, very cool experience.
Because I know in my area of Chicago, Waukegan, and Zion, we have these places. We call them hole in the wall places, but they're not really. But that's what we call it. And you go in there anytime, and the stage be empty. By 9:30, you got a few people up there. By 10 o'clock, oh, they're rocking, and they don't even know each other. They call it an open jam session. Bring your instruments and your voice. That's all they ask for. I remember one time I had we was in Chicago. I cannot remember the place of the club, but we went in there, you know, it was a jam session, and guess who walked in?
Oh, who?
B.B. King.
Oh, man.
With Lucille. He walked in, and they seen him walk in. He said, "BB, you want to come up here?" And waste no time. You know, he brings Lucille with him everywhere.
Yeah. No.
And he came up there, and they jammed for about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I like a free concert.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, it's a free concert that anything can happen.
Yeah. And so that happened right there. And I thought it was fantastic to see the jam session. So what are your plans going forward? I know you said you want to get a band together, but what is 34K looking for in the future?
34K just wants to promote the songs that I've written. I've written so many songs, and I want to work on getting those songs out, and hopefully, you know, having more reactions like you did with Soul Food, with others, just on songs that they relate to. You know, I want to get a band together. I want to be able to, of course, play more, gig more, you know, hopefully one day go on tour. You know, all of those big dreams are definitely there, but you know, at its core, I just want to, you know, be able to play music, support myself doing so, and also be able to share my creation, hopefully to relate to, make other people feel better, or somehow be able to relate to it if they can. You know, I think music is super powerful, and one song can go a long way. And
yes,
there's all of that too. So that's really, you know, I just want to be able to speak my mind through my music, and you know, hopefully get a lot of people to hear it.
Well, you know, maybe next time we get you back here, you bring your guitar in here.
I was gonna ask you, I was like, you know that, because I'm playing.
Yeah, I know. I think we're gonna do that next time around, because this won't be your last visit here, okay?
Yeah, I really would hope not.
because we want you back. Let me see here. Ivory said, "Okay, now my queen, amazing and gifted."
Thank you, Ivory.
And then your mom again. That's my daughter, y'all.
Thanks, Mom.
She's so proud of you. And I'm just reading some of the comments on here. But you know, it's good to have family backing you up. You know, so many people, I'm talking sports wise, so many, mainly dads, they couldn't make it in sports. I mean, they made it, but couldn't get over that threshold. So when they get a son, they want to live their life through their son and push that son going. What it's doing is pushing them away. You know, let them do what they want to do, support what they do. Now, my oldest son was a gifted baseball player. And I sure hope he's going to play baseball. He said, "No, Dad, that's not for me." I didn't push him. That was his decision he wanted to make. And now he's successful doing this thing. I forget what bank, but he does that with mortgage and everything. Okay. So I did not push him. I let mine do whatever they want to do, just support them along the way. And it sounds like to me you got a nice core of
Oh,
people in your
yeah.
family that support you. And
Mhm.
I'll tell you, everybody, you do not have to go outside your family to find love. If they love you unconditionally, it's right there. They're gonna support you, whether they like what you're doing or not. This is your choice, and they're supporting you. And sometimes they point you in the right direction. Oh, that's my baby, like your mom just said.
Yeah. Yeah.
So family is a good structure to have. Now we have people out there that playing music is like therapy to them because they have a troubled past and they find out how music is for them, and it's therapy for them. They're on stage for 2 hours, they're away from everybody, they're in their own zone playing music because we found out that there are a lot of stars out there that have some hidden issues.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to say I'm not downing them, but their way to get away from that is to go out, act, sing, sports, whatever. That's the way of getting out.
Mhm.
But for you having being well grounded, like you said, I was spoiled, but I wasn't a brat. I don't know. Mom, you want to answer that and make sure she wasn't a brat,
Yeah.
but
Go ahead and confirm that.
but it's nice to see that you're well rounded. When I first talked to you, your professionalism came out. Um, you spoke from the heart. And that's hard to find nowadays. People being real and speaking from the heart because you're real.
Thank you.
I mean, not if I pinch you, you're real. You just real altogether. And I appreciate that out of you, seeing it in your songs and how you put things together. And when you first walked up, you was what nervous, but you was running around there, just how you gonna set up, you got everything together. Cause I was watching you when
Oh,
you was
yeah.
moving and finally you seemed like you did.
Yeah. I actually remember doing that.
Yeah, I'm ready now, y'all.
Yeah, there's a little bit of, stress that goes with like setting up and all of that. But I will say the answer and just to interject on that, yeah, like as a performer, there's like like I guess when you say like there's the business side of things and then you get to go play, that's kind of how it is. It's like, okay, I gotta set all this up and make sure everything's right, and then I get to go play.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's good. And no, like I always bring this up. Everybody know I bring it up. Nobody knows what goes on behind the scenes. All they see is the finished product.
Mhm.
They don't know what you went through writing the song. They don't know what you went through. You really wanted this song, but you got a mind block. You shelved it, and then you got a performance coming up. You wait for the last minute things. I'm pretty sure, like I do, when I go out and DJ, I bring double or triple of everything. You never know what's going to happen, but nobody sees that. All they see is a finished product. You sit up there singing and looking good, and you up there doing all that, and that's all they see. But if somebody really asks you, how did it take you to get up here, starting in your morning time? What was going through your mind? Because sometimes you got to psych yourself up. I got to do this. I got to do this. What I'm gonna face? It's gonna be hot outside. Is it gonna rain? Is the air conditioner working in the building I'm going to? I know all that goes through your mind, and then you get up there. Am I gonna forget anything? And then you say, "Self, how can you forget your words? You wrote the song."
That's
but
true.
we are our own worst critics. So do you criticize yourself enough where
Oh.
you got to say stop it?
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta tell myself, okay, calm down a lot. Especially if I'm doing something that I'm not used to doing. Like right now, I play solo a lot, but if I'm playing with the band, there's a lot more going on, and I'm like, wait, am I gonna do this? Am I gonna be able to, help lead them and blah 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 blah, or it's just a lot of self-talk that I have to do to just say, you know what, just have faith that you prepared, just calm down so I won't forget stuff. Because I mean, if I'm all frantic and I'll forget something,
Mhm.
I won't be calm or ready or excited to go on. I'll be distressed, and it really does hinder the performance. So I do have to a lot talk myself out of being frantic when I perform.
Do as something happens and you have no control of it, the show must go on, right?
Oh yeah,
And people would know what happened.
yeah.
It's just sometimes you do that. I was doing something one time. I forget what it was, but right in the middle of me DJing, not the power went out. my laptop just died. And I'm trying to figure out what in the world happened. So, but I had my backup laptop already plugged up. So I just diverted, started playing music right there. So I found out what happened. I said, what did I do wrong? I'm looking. Forgot to plug the charger into it. Something simple like that.
Yeah.
And most people will freak out, but I went over to the other laptop. I was talking on the mic and they didn't know that happened.
Yeah.
And I switched over, started playing music on the other laptop. And then that's what, see, I always have a backup laptop up there with me. And I switched over. Nobody never knew what happened.
Wow.
They didn't know. So the word I'm leading up to when things like that happen to you is called resilience. You have to be resilient and know what to do on a drop of a dime. Now, that ever happened to you?
Yes.
Oh, wow. You didn't
Yes.
figure which story, huh?
Yes. I can think of which story. Oh man. I mean, I would say things like I miss a cue with the song happens a lot, and I have to like recover from that. But no one knows that, the audience, what I'm doing, they don't know. So those things happen quite often, and I'm like, okay, just keep going. I'm trying to remember. I feel like there's been times where I've gotten to a venue and they promised that I would have sound, or they promised I would have something, and they did not, and I have to figure out how to make it work. That kind of stuff happens, and that's super stressful. So I feel like, especially if you're about to go on in a few minutes, and you're like, well, so that's happened. But yeah, I mean, resilience is a very powerful word. I think, especially as someone that's a performer or creator, or somebody that's entertaining people.
Yeah.
You want to keep entertaining people, but you don't want that to stop. So you just try to find a way to make sure that you're not taking that away from folks, but you got it in your head, figure out, okay, well, how am I gonna solve this real quick? But don't let them know, like, keep a smile,
Oh yeah, you have to do that. You have to do that, which I don't think I asked you, but I think I dabbled in a little bit. When you have a concert to do and you telling yourself, how do I get myself in? I really don't want to do this today. I really don't want to do it. Lord, what? I don't. But you think of 20,000 excuses. You can't come up with one that you want to, but you go out and do it anyway. Because that's your profession. That's what you need to do. Because people sometimes they go through that. Like my deal in the morning, I'm up at 5 o'clock. I'm reading everything I'm gonna talk about my show. And I gotta tell myself, Ron, you got a show coming up, be ready to go. But some days I'm in the bed at 4:30. I said, I don't want to get up. I'm tired. I don't want to get up. 5 o'clock come around, I'm up. As soon as I cut on the camera, the mic is on, boom, it's showtime.
Yep.
What moments like that? Have you ever ran across some of the moments?
Oh yeah, I definitely have. Where I mean, and it doesn't take away from how much I love doing what I do, but there's some days where I'm like, I wish I could have like a day off, or I wish I could, like, because I work a full-time job and then I play at night a lot of times. So I wish I could have some time to just do like something unproductive.
Yeah.
Like binge watch something or something like that. But I'm saying, like, I just tell myself, okay, you got to do it. You're professional. You have to do this. You have to. You committed to something. You have to do it.
Right.
But at the same time, like what you said, when I feel like every time when I get that guitar and I'm about to start playing, I immediately want to do it. Like,
right.
I immediately, like, that all goes away. If I wasn't feeling well that day, sometimes if my adrenaline's pumping, I'm fine. If I was like, had some sniffles, sometimes when I'm about to get on the stage, the sniffles go away because my adrenaline's pumping so hard that it just goes away, and I deal with it later. So
yeah. After a concert, when you go home, how hard is it to wind down because you hyped? It's hard because I go through it. It's very hard.
It's hard.
It depends if you get home at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning and you're tired, but you can't go to sleep because you're still pumped.
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think that's something that a lot of people don't think about, that don't haven't experienced being entertainment or anything like that when you get home like late. And I know, unfortunately, sometimes some people turn to certain things like substances to try to get themselves down, calm down, because it's such a exhilarating and powerful thing when you're pumped but you're tired at the
Yes.
same time. It is sometimes very hard. I was actually talking to my mom about that not too long ago. Like sometimes it's just really hard for me to go to sleep. But how I cope with that, I just try my best to just lay in my bed and just think about the good stuff, and hopefully I fall asleep, and I don't want to turn to anything to try to get me to go to sleep or anything like that. But it is hard. It's like something that's not really talked about often.
It isn't. Well, my deal, if I'm out and I get in 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, you know what puts me to sleep?
What?
The TV.
You turn it on?
I cut the TV on. I guarantee within 5 or 10 minutes I'm out.
Really? Okay.
But if I go,
Yeah, remedy.
sometimes when I come home from things, I try not to go to my office because I got to set up in my office. I can do everything there, and I I go in like this, and I got to turn this way.
Yeah.
Because if I make a left, I'm going to my office. I'm liable to be up another 2 hours, doing something that I did that night. And it's hard to wind down from that. People don't realize how it is, because you pumped up, especially if you had a good crowd and you hype, they're hype, and you go home, you look around, there's nobody else here that's hype but me.
Yeah.
And so winding down is one of the hard, like you said, I never turn to anything, any type of drugs to take to go to sleep.
Yeah.
I leave that alone. I let Mother Nature take care of that.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I feel the same
Yeah.
way because I feel like it's a good topic to bring up because it isn't brought up. That's a lot of what some people do. They just
Mhm.
they feel like I can't wind down. It's too much. It's too overwhelming. I gotta find a way to go to sleep and stop everything. But unfortunately, sometimes that leads to addiction. At least to some things
Yeah.
are really So it's good that that you're bringing this up because that's something that 'cause most people don't think about. Winding
Yeah.
down and you would think it's cool to be pumped. You had a good show,
Mhm.
but at some point in time, you have to be able to relax, recover, and that recovery time sometimes it doesn't want to happen.
Yeah. So let's talk about you coming home from work, and the last thing you want to do is do anything with your work or do any music. Because I know sometimes when I go home from the studio, I bypass my office and go sit down in the living room. Because if I go in there, I'm gonna do some work. I gotta train myself to stay out of that office sometimes, and it's hard to do though, isn't it?
Mhm. Oh yeah, it's hard to do. Especially if I'm like when I'm thinking, I'm like, well, coming home, there's so many things you can do. There's so many things you can research, or you can call somebody, or if you're trying to, progress, your name, your brand. So many things that can be done. However, I do think it is important to be able to balance, as much as possible,
Oh yes.
balance all of the things that you're involved in, because if you get burned out, then it's going to show in your performance at work or wherever you're doing, like even in in my case, my side hustle right now, but what I want to, of course, become my full-time thing. So, yeah, that is
There's this thing called the 3 8s.
3 8.
Okay, 8 hours of work, 8 hours of sleep, and 8 hours of family time doing everything. But that one about family get intertwined if you're doing another job. You're singing, so you at your main job, and you come home, you gotta do that. And it's that keeps things healthy. But I'm sorry, sometimes you don't get to 8, 8, and 8.
No,
I can't remember if I ever had 8, 8, and 8.
yeah, that one's a hard one. That's a hard one to,
Yeah,
to accomplish.
yeah. Okay, I got to mess with you about something.
Oh,
I got to mess with you about something. First of all, let me see what's on there. Oh, your mom came back raunchy. I spoiled her, but she is not a brat. Thank you for clarifying that. Oh, somebody said they use sleep meditation music.
oh, they use music. That's a
Yeah,
good one too.
after that, and then they fall asleep. That was for Cheryl. I do when I'm in my office. Um, when I'm writing commercials, get my creative juices flowing, I will actually throw on Babbling Brooks, Thunderstorm in the background. I got all that sound, like 3 hours. I play that and I do that. And also, we're gonna get real technical. What I do, don't laugh at me, y'all. I put on Beethoven, Bach, Chopin. I listen to that music right there, and people look at me. You listen? I said, yes, I do.
I can see how that can really help you fall asleep.
Yeah,
Like,
that right
so
there.
soothing.
Yeah. So the question I was going to ask you, because you mentioned something, so I'm gonna mess with your psyche right here.
Oh man,
Binge watch.
binge watch.
Everybody binge watch. You thought I was coming out with something, didn't you?
I didn't know.
I caught that in between. You binge watch sometime. So what shows do you binge watch?
You know what? I said binge watch, but I really don't binge watch really. But if I do catch myself in that, I'll watch Stranger Things. I like that kind of stuff. I like kind of like the thriller. I've done Stranger Things. I've also found myself binge watching Breaking Bad. Very interesting show. So but I'm really not a TV watcher. I will say though, I do get on YouTube a lot and I will scroll and scroll endlessly to find videos and stuff.
And then you end up going down a rabbit hole.
Rabbit hole.
You like it's 11 o'clock, you know it's 2 o'clock.
Yep.
By going over, they said, "Where did time go?" I do the same thing.
Yeah, they're really good with those YouTube recommendations.
Mhm.
They're really smart and keen.
Now I binge watch. I'm not gonna lie to you. If I'm not, or I go to my office, my TV's in there. I cut off everything in there, and I'll binge watch. And I sit back and binge watch. I found a show the other day that I sat down and started watching. It's got 4 seasons, and I binge watched it for the past 2 weeks. I'm on season 2 right now. You know, if I want to get away from this, what I do, I binge watch. But the other thing is, I love working out in the yard. Okay, that's my therapy. Now, my wife's therapy is going shopping. I call that retail therapy. I like just messing around in the yard, cutting the grass. I'm out there and I'm fine just doing that, and everything is okay and stuff. And then Monday morning come around, I gotta get back in the rat races and do this. Usually on Sunday night is when I'm putting the flyers together, putting the things together, what's gonna go on that the next weekend and stuff. So like it's hard to separate that. So how can you get 8, 8, and 8?
888. Yeah, I mean, if you okay, I'm about to preach something. I'm not gonna say I practice it every single time, but I will say the way that I try to balance things. I might not get 888, but I get close. Mostly the way that I try to balance things is I try to make sure that I'm more proactive. So as much as possible, if I can try to be as proactive as possible, I think ahead. How can I, you know, get to a point where I know, okay, if I get this done right now, I have time for something else, like some relaxation time or some time to what if I do just want to play music and just not really, like be creative or anything like that. So I think time, and that leads into, being proactive leads into just having good time management, like understanding, okay, it's going to take me about this long to do this. No, I don't feel like it, but if I can get this done, then I can have some more time for this, and just kind of planning out, how you want your day to be. Sometimes things throw a monkey wrench at you and you don't get 888. You might get 516.
Well, it's only one true 8
Yeah,
that everybody get. If they got a 9 to 5, that's the job.
that's true.
They get that. The rest of it, you're on your own on that one.
Gotta balance that.
Yeah, until they ask for overtime. Then it's 12 and whatever,
Yeah.
all that good stuff. But no, I had messed with you on that one because you sort of jumped up and said that. So I told you I was gonna give you a hard time today. So, but
You've been good though. You haven't given me too hard of a time.
okay. Wait till the second visit.
Oh no.
So you got things lined up for the holiday season coming up?
As far as like gigs and shows, or so right now, I have a few shows and gigs, but I feel like every month I find, like, at this point in my stage in my journey, the month, let's say for instance we're in August, something pops up in September, and I'm like, oh, cool. When I got some stuff in September, that's kind of what July happened for me. However, I will say on my own end, I do have. I'm really looking forward to releasing my some new music on streaming platforms. So that's something that I have personally that has nothing to do with like shows and concerts or anything like that. But as of right now, I don't have anything specifically for the holiday season. But that may change.
Yeah, you might.
That may change.
You just might have something going on holiday season.
Yeah, but I am looking forward to making my release.
All right. In closing, how can people get a hold of you?
You can get a hold of me if you are on Facebook or Instagram. You can get a hold of me at the 34K THE 34K. I also have my email out there, the34k@gmail.com. I also want to throw another plug there. My YouTube channel is 34K Music. I just actually dropped a live acoustic performance video of my song titled Sweet. So if y'all want to check that out too, that would be great. Done some good stuff on there. But that's how you can get a hold of me. Yeah.
Yeah, good. See, she did all that dropping, and that's fine. I want you to drop as much as you can, so they find you out there. And I have no doubt some of my viewers right now are listening, and they trying to figure out how can they book you for their next deal come up. I bet you. I know two. I know two on hand. So, and they will do it. So, 34K. Thank you for coming aboard. We appreciate it. We welcome everybody who listened to our guest today, and we appreciate you chiming in and let us know what's going on. If you have anything you want to talk about, please hit us up at 210-461-8034, or hit us up on our website, wsanradio.com, and we will be glad to have you come on board and be one of our guests. Thank you.